All right, well, welcome back to Alive with Joy. I am Darice. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and I'm also an energy healer. And I recently expanded my focus to focus on joy, how we can embody more joy. And I'm having what I call a joy talk with my friend Sylvia, who is a quantum alchemist. And I'll have her explain what that is in a minute. But she's also an EFT goddess extraordinaire. And I'm definitely going to encourage people to check out her YouTube channel. And I'd like to have her just give us a overview, just kind of what she does and how she became a quantum alchemist. And so I guess we could just start there. So, like, what do you mean by quantum alchemist?
Well, I have so many certifications. It's the fastest way to sum it up. It's the fastest way to sum it up for me. Instead of listing everything that I've been certified in, I just rather say quantum alchemist because it leaves the box open and I hate labels.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's so easy for me to say, well, I don't want to fit in that box. I don't want to fit in that box. I don't want to fit in any box. So Quantum Alchemist allows me to be the multidimensional me that I am and play with it and then work all those and weave all those different things that I've been certified into who I innately am as well. And so that's kind of what it is.
Okay. And what I really like to have people focus on is like how they move through like a really tough time, how they move from despair to joy, or what was the tower moment? And
Yeah.
then how did you move through that moment? And what were some of the spiritual tools or modalities that you used to help you move through that? So first take us through like one of the tower moments for you, like a tower intro where something
I love
that
I
you don't
love how you
expect falls
say
apart.
one of the tower moments because there's not usually just one.
Exactly.
That means there's multiple. But I would say the biggest tower moment for me that put me on my spiritual path was when I couldn't get out of bed. I was physically, emotionally, spiritually depleted. Um, as a mom of twins,
Hmm.
working full time, and then I think it was the emotional toxicity of also the work environment.
Mm.
It was just too much. Like because I was already running in guilt as a full-time working mom and not being able to pour into my kids or my family life. Because when you are away from home, you give a good part of your chunk of your day to your work and coworkers. And it turned out where it used to be the place I had worked at was rewarded for tenure. Like the owners used to reward people with special, the watches, the 25-year watch and the special jacket and everything. And those owners sold to investors. And
Ah,
as soon as that happened, the appreciation for tenured employees literally flew out the window. And then it became, do we have a job anymore? Are the investors just going to sell it again? Do they want to keep it the same, leave it, do whatever? And the first thing the investors started to do is cut tenured employees. And, but also it became very toxic because that fear was like I would vomit before work.
oh
That's
my God.
how like toxic I didn't want to be there. And
Well, how long had you been there? How much tenure had you had at
19
that time?
years,
18?
19 years, 19,
19? Oh my God.
19. And so I would vomit just to get to work or just to leave my family and show
Wow.
up in these doors because it literally was like very backstabby. It got really ugly because people were fearful. And it's kind of like what we're seeing in the world today with the whole 2020, like where people started like getting backstabby and turning sides and everything like that. It really was the premise for me, but because of that, like my body started to shut down. And I went to like every single specialist that I could to determine what was happening to me because I couldn't get out of bed. And it was just being who I had been, where I was like, always fixing and making the environment better. I just couldn't hold that environment together. It was too much negative energy for me.
And how old were your children at this time?
They were, um, I think this was about 10 years ago. So about 12, but I had worked, I mean, I was pregnant with twins going to work.
Okay.
And everybody felt so bad for me because my stomach could I could barely fit in the car because my
Mm-hmm.
stomach was at the steering wheel. There was so much baby in me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was huffing and puffing just to get into the door on time.
Mm,
Because my this it was all baby because of two babies
mm-hmm.
and it was all
Mm-hmm.
baby. And I was just like out of breath by the time I actually went to work and sat into my chair to do work. That other moms, I think that had I think I'd been transferred between all the different departments because the departments were kind of like they were trying to put work on everybody else as they cut the fat. You know what I mean? They cut all these
Yeah.
employees and then they started layering extra work into other departments. So I
Yeah,
kind
I've
of
been
just
on
got,
both sides where you get laid
yeah,
off. Like I've been laid off
yeah.
and then I've been in a place after other people have laid off and you have to take on a second full-time job to make up for the fact that they laid off people. Yeah.
Right. And so they were putting kind of like they displaced me. They kind of created a department because there wasn't the department that I was working in was no longer there. So they created a department for me to take ownership of, but then they put me under somebody that made no sense. But she knew that I had been there longer than her and that I knew my job and I'd figure it out with or without her. So she really didn't have to worry about me. And I always like exceeded expectations. However, like having, the mommy guilt of, the babies being full time with, at the time was my sister, thank God, because I wouldn't have been able to have a job without my sister watching them,
Mm,
because the cost of daycare would have like taken my paycheck. So it was like no point. But yeah, but my body physically was just like freaking out. And I went to several specialists to determine what was going on. I was just exhausted like beyond. And then I also knew it was toxic too. And so my whole, I guess, tower moment awakening had to do with the fact that like I had to kind of climb out of a pit of health problems. And
okay.
and that's how I learned about like emotional health, spiritual health, and how all of our auric bodies, if it's not clear, it can seep in, one auric body at a time until it manifests into physical health. So I was
And
at,
maybe explain the auric fields for people who
okay,
may not know what that is.
I wish I had a photo of it, but there's at least 7 layers of the bodies with emotional, mental, upper mental, lower mental, spiritual. Like we are not just this physical form.
Right.
When some symptoms hit our physical form, it's because it has been let into all the other layers of our being before it hits our physical
Mm,
body, manifests in a physical form. That's why when somebody says, you know, they have such and such ailment. And I have a book, it's like, it's really good if anybody's out there struggling with health challenges. It's called Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. And it tells
mm.
you feelings buried alive never die. Um, it tells you exactly like if you can look up why is my left toe bothering me? Why is my left shoulder bothering me? And it tells you some of these underlying messages the body is trying to convey to you, but the only way the body can convey it to you is because you don't pay attention other than when you're in pain.
Ah,
So when you start to feel the pain, when you start to um, try to determine why you have that stuck shoulder or whatever, or that bum knee on the right side. What is that meaning for you? And so I kind of just dove into that part of healing outside of like all the doctors don't know what's wrong with me. And so they're putting, of course, they try to mask everything with pain medicine. Well, that doesn't really solve the problem. It doesn't really, um, it almost like puts a band-aid on a wound, but the wound is still there under the band-aid.
mm,
Does that make sense? So that's
yeah.
what pharma will do. They'll give you the brace or the ankle band or something if you've strained an arm, just so that you stay in place. But the reason why you strain the arm or the brace isn't because you know what I mean? It's not solving the problem. And so the deeper layers of healing I learned was spiritual and emotional
Right. So
development.
someone can still be using traditional like Western medicine to help them with the symptoms, And at the same time, while they're doing that, you're suggesting we also do some of the spiritual emotional stuff too.
Right, because it helps at the root cause
Okay.
for the issue you're having. And so that's where I became like the quantum alchemist and the emotional EFT practitioner because anything that I have gotten certified in is because I felt a difference in my body movement.
Mm.
And being a very sensitive being, and like I said, trying to make that space like symbiotic and harmonized, I wasn't able to because there was too much toxicity all around me and fear. So that as a clairsentient, which means clear feeling, I
Hmm.
was absorbing everyone's fear.
Ah,
Does that make sense? So then,
yes.
fear in me, then you come to a different level of your awareness, like, is this mine or not? Because you, as an empath or sensitive being, you can pick up other people's stuff and think it's yours, and it's not yours at all. It's just you walk through the grocery store, somebody's going through the most fearful moment of their life, and you're the sponge that walked right by and cleaned it up for them. Not even trying, you just did. So that's kind of like what I learned about myself is being in, a not so great childhood, like trying to, kind of even out the balance of a very toxic childhood between my mother and father who were very tumultuous and
Mm.
very violent.
Oh,
As far as home, you as a star soul, star seed, light bringer, you do your best to like give the space harmony in any space that is. And so I grew up needing to from the womb because my
yeah.
my
And you were
parents were
already an
fighting.
empath probably as a child too, so
Yeah,
you
my
were
parents were
absorbing,
fighting while I was in her stomach.
yeah, so you were absorbing all of that fear and anxiety and rage and
Right.
sadness.
Right, right. And so they came together, had 4 children, and then divorced.
Mm.
But it was very toxic the whole time and very abusive, violently abusive, and verbally
Oh,
abusive.
wow. Sorry
Yeah,
you went through that.
yeah. So you learn how you become who you are today because of what you had to survive as a child.
Hmm.
And
And so
so,
did you leave your body a lot as a child then because of all of
yes.
that?
Yes, I very easily left my body, which my body had to do a lot to get my attention because I was often out of my body.
Uh-huh.
So for my body to scream like it was for work, healing work, whatever that looks like, whether it's Western medicine, Eastern medicine, Chinese medicine, acupuncture, chiropractic, whatever that was, I was going to do everything that made me feel good.
Hmm.
And that's what I kept doing is finding things that made me feel good on my way back to who I am today.
Okay. So how long were you in that space where you couldn't get out of bed after dealing with once the work environment became totally toxic for you?
Um, oh, well, I forced myself to go to work every single day. Like I told you, I was vomiting on my way to work. But then um once that like they basically let go of the top tier people that had been there the longest, I was one of them, and then the HR person was another one of them. Um, I think I still didn't have the answers to what was going on health wise. I
Was that
slept.
like 3 months, 6 months, a year?
Oh, that was at least, I think it was about 6 months when I was given the download that a person that I worked with was actually what I thought was a friend was actually backstabbing to step on
Mm,
me and to get over me. Does that make
mm,
sense?
yes.
Yeah. And I had that a lot with women, specifically in the very masculine corporate environment. And
Same here.
it's so unfortunate. It really is unfortunate, but that's really how they've been like almost raised to be successful. It's definitely an eye for an eye. And it's very sad. It's not the environment that we're in now in the spiritual environment where, we understand each other is one. So of course I'm going to wish all well for you because if you're well, then I'm well. Does that make sense? And there's
Yes,
so
yes.
much lack of understanding in the corporate environment.
Yeah, I've been
So
in several
yeah,
corporate environments where that was the case also for me. And I understand it though now after, because I mean, I've been in corporate or quasi corporate jobs for a good like 12 to 15 years, actually longer, probably almost 20. And what I've
yeah,
noticed is that um, because of sexism, misogyny, there's very few spots for women at the top to begin with. And
mm-hmm,
then they get rewarded for being not just like men, but worse than men.
right,
Like that's how they get promoted. And at the
mm-hmm,
end of the day, I understood a lot of these women, they were doing it because they needed the money, they needed to support their families, or they wanted, it was about they work so hard and they have these incredible skills and talents and they want to use them, to the best of
mm-hmm,
their ability. And if you have the opportunity to get into that leadership position where you can, really like express yourself in the career, but it's a hyper masculinity. Um,
mm-hmm,
that gets rewarded, and often they feel threatened by the women that they see as equally talented or sometimes more talented than them,
yes,
so they become more toxic than men in the workplace. It was
mm-hmm,
really always rather ironic for me to watch that happen.
mm-hmm,
But I think it's just part of our transition to from patriarchy to a more equitable society, or one where the feminine is valued.
mm-hmm,
Because if the
yeah,
feminine wasn't so devalued, people wouldn't have that knee-jerk reaction to, you know, take on the masculine in that hyper way.
right, right. And that's what it is. It's really, and so I just saw the ugliness of it all a little bit. I became more aware and more aware, um and then just kind of saw the whole like tailcoat turning and things on. And so then I was like, whoa, this is really cutthroaty, more than I'd ever seen. And I had been there a good, by that time, it was probably a good 17, 18 years before the investors came in and
Mm-hmm.
then started freaking everybody out, basically. And then as soon as that I got, I guess it would be called like, I think it would be laid off in a way
Mm-hmm.
because they couldn't fire me. I never did anything wrong. I
Mm-hmm.
outperformed everything and I got any kind of sales bonus ever. So I, won trips and got these cash bonuses. I even brought other departments on to get big cash bonuses as well, where they weren't even tied to me. I just happened to be in the same umbrella of that manager. So they're like, thanks for the Christmas bonus, Sylvia, for working your ass off. And I'm like, yeah, you're welcome, everyone. But then they actually had to cap the bonuses because I went way beyond whatever they set for me. And so then they're like, oh shit, we're paying out more than $10,000 in bonus. We have to like we can't like let her let her take more of our money, like we're gonna have to say you can make this amount of bonus money, but no more than this amount of money, right?
Yeah,
I'm
gotcha,
like, okay,
gotcha.
guys, whatever.
All right. So was
Um,
that first part, the book Feelings Buried Alive, Never Die? Was that like the first like step that kind of took
no,
you
you know
on?
what I saw? I saw somebody do an EFT
Oh,
on a Facebook Live.
okay.
And because I had time on my hands now, I didn't have a
Mm-hmm.
job. And I was like rediscovering, okay, what's really wrong with me?
Oh, and explain what EFT tapping is for people who don't know what that is.
So EFT tapping is emotional freedom technique. And basically, the girl didn't explain it as much as I do in my videos. I have like on my very first video of my playlist of EFT, emotional freedom technique tapping, I go into the points of the body which are on the body, but there are meridians. And so meridians, the concept of meridians is uh, from acupuncture or acupressure. And so acupuncture has been around for at least 5,000 years. So our Western medicine and what our doctors are knowing now has only really expanded about 100 to 200 years, where Eastern medicine has gone as far back as at least 5,000 years documented. They found a mummy in some hillside somewhere that actually had the meridian points tattooed on
Oh,
him.
wow.
And so, like, So what I'm teaching is those meridian points. I'm either having people press if they have a headache or tap on those points because it unlocks or opens up stuck energy within the body. But what I do is I typically help flip their mental script because we focus on usually not so positive thoughts. So I take those negative thoughts, patterns or belief systems that we have been programmed through our entire existence. And I take those and we tweak them into a question form to have our mind start to solve that question. Because if you give the mind something good to do, it will do that. So
Oh, so
have
that's
it
why you
folk,
have people ask
yeah,
questions in your video.
yeah,
I like that. I've always
yeah,
liked that
so I do
approach.
that. And then so I'll say, what if or why, maybe, and so then I have the mind going to solve that question statement. And then at the very end, we do embodiment statements. So we go from maybe I'm struggling with this, maybe, I might be not trusting myself. Maybe I am a little still fearful of stepping into that leadership role. And then we go, but what if I know everything I need to know? What if, you know, I truly am ready for that? What if I know more than I think I know? You know,
Hmm.
and then you go into the embodiment statement is like, yes, I am the right person for the job. I was born for this. You know what I
And why
mean?
do you
Like, of
call it an
course.
embodiment statement instead of an affirmation?
That's just the way because it's like I am. Like it is an affirmation, but it's more of an embodiment, like bringing it in, putting it into the body and tapping it in is putting it into the body. So recoding the mental mind, using the physical tapping into the meridian points and then putting those affirmations in. It's like another layer of affirmations instead of just hearing it or maybe even seeing it, you're even feeling it because you're opening up those
Ah,
tapping points and you're putting it in those spots that if you were to go get acupuncture, they would be a needled spot.
okay.
So,
Oh, okay.
does that make sense?
Yeah, because I have tried EFT tapping off and on for probably about a good, I don't know, 12, 15 years. Like I'd started with like, what was it, Brad on YouTube that everybody always went to. But I could never stick with it on a regular basis. And then there was something about your videos where like I just feel the difference more significantly. I mean, I always
Hmm.
felt relief whenever I did EFT tapping with other people. But with your videos, like I could really feel my whole body and nervous system like really unwind and relax. And
Yeah.
then
And
also,
I layer my stuff too. People don't know the magic I do behind the video because I have two different types of energy uh, certifications. So I can bring in the angelic support to assist me with what those people that are tuning into my video live or later 2 years down the road, those people, I set the intention that they get exactly what they need. And how
ah,
that comes through me is frequency and healing because I've been certified in that. And I
okay.
work with crystals a lot.
Well, I was going to have you talk about those two things too. So since you mentioned the angels first, let's talk about how you started working with angels.
So I use the directions. So I started doing guided meditations. My monkey mind sometimes was too busy to just sit and breathe. Like
Hmm.
I wasn't the best like sitting, just sit there and breathe because my mind wanted to go crazy. Instead of like, and then I listen to people, you can do walking meditation or like literally paying attention to every breath is a meditation or every movement of your foot on the ground is walking meditation. So there's all these different kinds, but I was trying to do the basic meditation that people just like, okay, just breathe and close your eyes. Well, my mind was going, yeah, that's not going to happen. So, the best way for my mind to do it was guided meditations. And so I found somebody that I completely adored on YouTube, and he started me into learning about the angels in all the directions.
What do you
So,
mean? Explain that.
okay, so when he does his guided meditations, he calls in Archangel Raphael with the green ray, the caduceus, the energy of the east, new beginnings, right? So it's very shamanic. And then Archangel Michael of the south with the blue ray of truth, strength, courage, protection. And
Hmm.
then Archangel Gabriel of the west, emotions, that grandmother energy, that light
Hmm.
allowing you to speak clearly when you're tongue-tied during Mercury retrograde. You know, Archangel Gabriel help. I've asked for Gabriel to help me several times on my YouTube video when my tongue feels a little too fat to speak. And
Yeah,
then
same here.
Archangel Uriel, Archangel Uriel, I feel like is behind me with this the sun energy, like the golden yellow canary, the one that
Mm,
goes into the cave to make sure it's safe before the miner would go down there, right? He's the ray, but he's also very grandfather energy to me, very like grounded redwood forest earth, you know, bear energy. So that's Archangel Uriel. Archangel Sandalphon speaks to me in music. Like,
okay, well,
so
let me slow you down because that's a lot for a lot of people who may be new to all of this. So I know most
Sandalphon
people,
below.
yeah, well, well, most people are probably familiar with Archangel Raphael and Archangel Michael and Archangel Gabriel. So who is Archangel Uriel? Let's start there.
Archangel Uriel is of the north. So he would be, depending on where your position is. So
Mm,
it's very shamanic in the way that he calls in his guided meditation. So Uriel of the north, grandfather, think of a white Santa Claus looking dude.
okay, okay.
That's what I visualize. And of the yellow ray, so very sun, solar
Mm,
plexus, golden
mm-hmm,
sunflower,
mm-hmm.
but also very earthy. So you feel like he has got your back. Not that all the other angels don't always have your back, but he has got you. Like he's like
Okay,
grandfather redwood tree. Like
okay,
nobody's going to mess with Archangel Uriel. He's going to shine the light
okay,
so bright and make sure you're completely held, right?
okay.
And then Archangel Sandalphon from the lower realms, he takes your prayers to God, source creator. He
Ah,
he is, people have said Archangel Metatron and Sandalphon were brothers, and they've actually have said to
ah,
believe that they've been physical on the physical plane before. And
oh,
so
okay.
Elijah and Enoch of the Bible
Mm-hmm.
age, whenever that was. We don't really know true history, really. But Archangel Sandalphon speaks in music. He speaks in music, and I didn't realize how much music comes to me when we're in our little,
Well, wait, are
like,
you saying Elijah is either Metatron or Sandalphon?
yeah. So Elijah, uh, um, you know, you've heard it if you've ever done church. Elijah is in one of those
Yeah,
spiritual songs they sing.
yeah,
Saw
definitely.
saw the wheel in the sky.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and kind of wonder what the wheel was really
Yeah,
these
I
days.
was raised Baptist and then converted to Catholicism and then left the Catholic Church. But yeah, so
Yeah, but you know, Elijah's been mentioned and Enoch, but there were brothers.
so Enoch was Sandalphon.
I don't know which one. I can't remember off
I
the top
remember
of my
which
head.
was
It's
one of them. Okay,
yeah,
I got
one
you.
of them is, but they're brothers in the physical realm. And so Sandalphon is represented by the lower realm, and Metatron is the upper realm. So
Okay,
the brothers, we are the pillar between the brothers. We are the bridge between the brothers. So
you mean
Sandal
people, humans?
humans,
Oh, okay.
humans, yeah, star souls, humans, light
Oh,
workers,
cool. I've
luminaries.
never heard anybody put it that way before. That's awesome.
Yes. So Sandalphon in the lower realm, uh, he connects us to Mother Gaia, but he also speaks to us in music. And so I didn't
Ah,
realize that until I was started like those guided meditations and I started learning about Sandalphon and Metatron and Gabriel, Raphael, Michael, and Uriel. So that's how he started his guided meditations, the guy that I listened to on YouTube. And so I started learning about angels.
okay.
Yeah. And then that was when, like, back in the day when Doreen Virtue was all about angel books and angel cards. So I have a ton of angel cards, a ton of angel books. I even have a few Doreen Virtue signed books
Oh,
from
wow.
Maui when I was visiting. So
Hmm.
those are collectibles. A lot of her decks are actually worth
Yeah,
a
because
lot
she's no
now.
longer in that world now anymore, right?
Yeah, she's you know how some people will dabble into spirituality and then they go back to
Hmm.
like a fearful Christianity and then
Hmm.
they rebuke everything they
Hmm.
created.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But she did stuff with, was it Radley Valentine? Because
Hmm.
I have their Oracle deck book. It's beautiful. I love that Archangel
Yeah.
Oracle deck.
Yep. And they also had a fairy deck I
Oh,
have by
okay.
Doreen and Radley. And
Okay.
Radley's still around. He still
Yeah,
talks
I like
about
his
the
channel.
angels. Yeah, he still talks about the angels. So, but yeah, so I learned about angels by doing the guided meditation that brought it in the four directions above and below.
And so, how did that
So,
actually help you specifically working with angels? Like, how did that help you physically, emotionally, mentally? Like, I like to break things down for people.
yeah, like just knowing that I wasn't alone, knowing that I
Mm.
can call on anyone specifically. And I mean, I have stories where, I had called on the angels and they put me in a bubble of warmth, like a cocoon, and put me to sleep while they handled it.
Ah.
Because and then sometimes when you're in a situation where you're in fight, flight, freeze, or freaking out and you're not sure, your human mind doesn't quite know the higher perspective of what you should do. You come into like, what should I do? Like, what should I do? And then so what I would always do is I would always call on Michael and I would say, look, I'm not sure whose job this is, but if you can round up the troops, if you can round up the troops, this is the situation. And what had happened is my mom, who's diabetic,
Hmm.
she had hit her head. She was out at a restaurant. She used to sing at a bar and grill, and her husband would
Oh,
play guitar
oh
and she would
wow.
sing. Well, she was getting up to use the restroom in between sets, and her strap of her purse caught her foot. And so she had fallen and hit her
Oh,
head on a bar stool.
yikes.
And I literally had the longest lifing day ever. And then my phone started going crazy with text messages. And it was, Mom fell. I can't get the bleeding to stop. And I was literally just taking off my clothes, crawling into bed because I was done for the day.
Oh
And I
no.
and I got all this, like I got put
Wow.
into a group chat with my siblings.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, not today. I was so exhausted. I was like, I can't. And I wasn't close. I physically was about a 45-minute, 50, almost an hour drive away. And I don't know what had happened. Maybe they seeded my thoughts, but I had thought because I just took my bra off. And anybody who knows
I know. Once you
how
take off
like
your bra, it's
liberate,
like I ain't
it's
going
so
nowhere now.
liberating. I know. I was taking off my bra and I was like, yes, this is great. And I was gonna crawl into bed. And then my phone started going crazy. And then I had thought they probably seeded my thoughts. And I said, well, archangels don't need to put a bra on. They don't even need to drive. They could be there in an instant. I'm thinking in my head, like I'm doing my human solving of
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
how
yeah, yeah,
can I put my bra back on? If I get there, it'll be like an hour by the time I show up. Who knows if she'll be in the place or in an ambulance on the way to the hospital,
yeah.
whatever. So I'm thinking all these human things. So I literally just did like an angel huddle. Like I called in Archangel Michael and I'm like, listen, I don't know who I could. I know Raphael's for healing and I
Hmm.
know you're for protection. And I'll tell you what, if they're gonna load her up in an ambulance, she's gonna feel like uncomfortable because my mom is the mom of the bar. Like she doesn't want anybody to worry about her. She doesn't want anybody
Hmm.
to worry about her, but she also doesn't like hospitals. So she's going to go through her own process of trying to be tough but also fearful. Does that make sense? So
Absolutely.
I told the angels like, look, you need to, I don't know, who can help with this situation. I said, but if you can like make sure everything goes smoothly, she gets the best doctors that are going to make her feel completely comfortable and that they're going to know exactly how to calm her down because I know she's going to put on a tough front, but she's really going to be scared because she doesn't trust hospitals. And so I basically just kind of had this little team angel huddle. And then I said, you know what else would be really cool? And I don't know if this is asking for too much, right? Like, 'cause I think us as humans, we're like, is this really pushing the limit? Like, can I ask for this? Is this too much? And so I said, you know what people really want when they don't feel good is you want your mom, and her mom's on the other side. I said, so if grandma can be there to oversee things and make her feel good, that's great. So what they did is they took the burden completely off me. They bundled me into a warm, light cocoon, like I was like in a butterfly cocoon.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
it was like when you go into surgery and they put a warm blanket on you. I
yeah.
felt like that. Completely forgot about my phone going crazy. And my siblings were at the hospital that I knew they were gonna take the ambulance to. take my mom to the with the ambulance too. I knew I've been in the emergency room in that hospital. They literally have a 2x2 bench for your visitor.
Mm.
That's what you're sitting on. And this was right around where they were really weird about like letting people have visitors in the hospitals because of the
Oh, around the
COVID
pandemic
thing.
time?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So they were like really, you would only have two people maximum and then you'd have to rotate. The whole parking lot was full of everybody from the bar concerned about my mom. And my siblings were on that 2x2 bench. I was put to sleep. My phone was going crazy. I slept better than I'd ever slept. And then I looked at the phone and they were like, "Oh my God, grandma's here." And they were like, "No, she's not ready to go." She was getting picked up by grandma to go to the other side. And they were freaking out. And I didn't say that I called the angels in. Everything is going to be okay. Also, if it's not too much, grandma's coming too. I didn't say anything. They put me right to sleep.
Wow.
My siblings had a freak out. They're like, it would have been really nice to know if you told us grandma was coming.
And so how long before your mom felt better, like in the hospital?
I think she was like just stitched up and let go that night.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
They
That's
just,
a
yeah,
miracle.
she just had like 7 or 9 stitches on her forehead. She still has a scar above her eyebrow,
Mm-hmm.
but they stitched her up. They got her blood under control. They really had to watch that because that's one of the things with the diabetics to make sure their blood sugar levels stay up and everything. But she was sent home, and everybody from the bar, I think, camped out in the hospital parking lot until like 5 in the morning or something when they finally let her go.
Wow, that's an incredible story. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah,
I
because
have
I
a
work with
lot of
angels
stories
too a
like that.
lot. And I mean, I wish I could remember who it was. It's some woman's ebook I got like 15, 20 years ago said you could hire angels for anything. Like there are literally thousands of angels just waiting for something to do for humans. So
Yeah.
like even if it's something little, like I say I have a personal assistant angel, like when I need to remember something and I don't have any way to put it down or I can't reach my phone, I'm like, personal assistant angel, remind me to do XYZ, like when I met such and such, and I do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I also call on the archangels a lot too. But I've never done
Yeah.
it to that degree the way you just did. And I think
Yeah.
that's so great. And you're
Yeah.
right, like I love not feeling alone. Like I know that there's
Right.
always someone in my corner, in my side to help and
Yeah.
support me and guide me. And I think that alleviates a lot of anxiety for me.
Right. And the other message I get, because people know that I have worked with the angels with these stories that I have shared in the past, they will say, Sylvia, my mom's in the hospital. Can you send the angels? Or, Sylvia, I am going through a huge court case. Can you call in the angels for such and such date and time? And the thing I say to everyone is that I am not your hotline. I'm not your phone line. You can do the same.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have special rights to the angels. I said people just don't think that they can, and they can.
Exactly. Yeah. As long as you believe that you have the faith and the ability, like you have the connection too, like they're here for all of us. You just have to
Right,
literally just ask.
right. And there's so many unemployed angels that are looking for something to do, waiting
Yeah,
for a
which is a
human
good
to need
reminder for me
them.
because I have a lot of things going on right now. And like I need to start calling on my angel troop.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's, I mean, that was kind of the thing. And so I took a lot of angelic courses after that. So like on my spiritual journey of doing different things like emotional freedom technique, trying to meditate to determine, like, get to deeper layers of myself, but then knowing that my monkey mind is a little bit busy. So how do I meditate? Right. And so then I go guided meditations. And so even to this day, I like to use guided meditations.
Hmm.
But I can also just listen to like Tibetan bells and just breathe now because,
Hmm.
we're in Courtney's container that all that zero tells us all the time is breathe.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and I always tell people too, like meditation is not about stopping the mind. It's just about observing it. So sometimes it's easier if you can just allow yourself to observe the monkey mind and like all the thoughts that you're having and like just observe what's going in circles.
Yeah.
And like
And I
even just
like
doing that can calm you down sometimes.
Yeah, and I like to somebody has said, and I don't even know where I heard this in the whole process of my spiritual journey, but somebody had said, think of thoughts as clouds floating by in the sky. They're going to
Yes.
continue to float by in the sky. So just watch them
Wow.
float by.
Okay. Well, we don't have too much longer to go, but I did want to get into crystals because you are like the most prolific expert I've ever met on crystals. And
Oh,
like
thank
it
you.
blows my mind how much you know about crystals. So how did you get into crystals and like just
Well,
let's talk about
I took a course. I took another course in
that.
crystal healing. It was like holistic healing
Okay.
and use of crystals, herbs, and oils.
Hmm.
And so every single month we studied a handful of crystals and herbs and oils for specific reasons. And we would learn all about them. And so I created a course that was specifically on crystals, herbs, and oils and angels because I started learning about all these things. And instead of like trying to educate people in my inbox, I just thought, oh, well, they if I could put it together in something they can do on their own, then great. They can do it on their own. But crystals have really been a great ally. I think right now for me, crystals are speaking louder than ever. I have a crystal healing tray, and it's about 16 inches. Well, I mean, I have crystals all over my house. My house does look like a crystal fair. Like literally, I mean, I have big specimens through my house, but next to my bedside, I have a tray that's about 16 inches deep by about 12 to 15 inches wide. And it's kind of like what people would put bed and breakfast trays, like when they're bringing breakfast to you in bed. It's full of all of the crystal colors. And you can use your left hand to actually scan to determine which crystal wants to work with me today.
And
And
why
if
the
you
left hand?
the left hand is your receiving hand. It's your
Okay.
divine feminine hand. So you're receiving
Okay.
your right hand. If you're an energy healer, right hand is for sending, left hand is for receiving. So
Okay.
the feminine hand is receiving. So if you put your left hand over your crystal healing tray, which mine is organized by chakra color. So we have
Okay.
like, the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and then I have clear quartz and then I have Lemurian quartz in there as
Okay.
well. So I just let my hand tell me what crystals. But because this is a podcast, it's like public speaking. So the two crystals I recommend for everyone that does public speaking is chrysocolla and amazonite, which are the two that I have in my hands.
Which is which?
Chrysocolla and amazonite,
And which one is which? Like the dark
amazonite,
green. Okay.
amazonite, and chrysocolla looks like the earth to me.
Okay.
And I often will wear like my Larimar or even turquoise
Hmm.
because turquoise is super protective, but it's also throat chakra. And I am an earth sign, but my earth sign is Taurus, which is ruled by the throat chakra.
Okay.
So you start to learn what crystals work for you based on your sun, moon, and rising sign. So you can find
Oh,
crystals like the ones on my bracelets here. These are based on my sun, moon, and rising signs.
well, how would people find that out? How would they figure that out?
So, well, you can study crystals, but you can say, like, let's say you're Scorpio. What are a few crystals that are best for Scorpio? What are a few crystals that are best for Libra? What are a few crystals that are
So
best
like
for
just a
Taurus?
straight, simple Google
You
search.
can you can Google it, but you can also there is a website that where I got these bracelets, and they give back to otters, like $1 for every bracelet goes back to
Oh,
save
okay.
the
Well, if
otters.
you send me the link, I'll make sure to put
Yeah,
it in the description.
this website's called Otter Spirit, and $1 for every bracelet goes back to saving the otters. And
Okay.
they have it broken down by your horoscope
Okay.
signs. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, which would be
Cool.
perfect for your audience, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I just want to check that out.
Yeah.
And there was another question I had about crystals for you. So when did you actually start working them with them for yourself?
Oh, during the meditation, I often have a lot of crystals all around on me because you can get
But I
chakra.
mean, when did you actually start using crystals in that way for yourself in your life?
Well, while I was meditating.
Oh, when
So
you
I would
first
do it,
started
I would
learning how to
place them on
meditate?
myself. Yeah, I would place them on myself, but then when I was doing energy healing for others, I would place them on them.
Okay.
So I would have like all the color chakra crystals, and then I'd have two palm stones in their hands, often like selenite
Okay.
for holding the light in their hands while I work through their energetic
Ah,
field.
okay. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it was on the body, but that was also through the course that I took, is like learning about the chakras, the crystals.
Okay.
And then if you did energy healing, you could do that on yourself. You can run your own Reiki on yourself, but you could
Ah,
also do that on for others, but with crystals using their energetic properties to assist you in another layer of that assistance in that energy flow. Because
okay.
crystals have their own strengths and they've been here a long, 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 long time. So they're here to assist us now more than ever.
Yeah, and why do you say that about crystals? Like,
I
why?
I I think that more and more people are open to the energetic frequencies that they hold. And now that it's a little bit thinner between realms, not only are the tree spirits trying to work with us, the flower spirits are trying to work with us, but the crystals are as well. And the animal kingdom is here to assist us, like our felines and our canines, as well as the crows and the ravens and the squirrels. They all have messages for us, but it's just I think that they're understanding that as our frequency raises and our vibration, I think that our colors shift so they can determine if they feel safe. If you've ever walked into a store and you've noticed a child staring at you or an animal staring at you, is because your energetic frequency is an anomaly from what they've seen, meaning that you're doing your own inner work. And so you're a little bit brighter on the spectrum to the animals and the kids that are more awake, where
Mm,
everybody around them, they're not seeing the same color spectrum as what you have because of
okay.
your inner work.
So you're saying your auric field is changing colors and like kids and animals can actually see that.
Yes. And they can tell that you're safe,
Ah.
that you're not going to bring harm.
So if someone wanted to start working with crystals, like they've never used crystals, like what would be the first thing you tell them to do? Like how would they get started?
Oh, well, I one of the ways that I started before even courses was I just went into a crystal shop and I let myself be drawn by the crystal because the crystal will choose you just like an animal will at the Humane Society.
Hmm.
So the crystal will like call to you. Maybe you won't hear it audibly, but like you're just going to be like obsessed with it. And you're going to be
Okay.
like, I don't know why, but I'm so drawn to that rose quartz or I'm so drawn to that amethyst. And it's because it's supposed to be with you and it's kind of trying to get your attention, just like a screaming cat at a humane society that is like, you're my person. The crystal's going to basically say, you're my person, but you have to go in with an openness to feel what is calling you and then listen to that. And then when I was like probably, I don't know, 15, 16 years old, I'd go into crystal shops and I'd let little not nothing this big, maybe like this size, call my name because I didn't have the budget for anything like bigger, call my name and then I would have them. And my first crystals were like regular clear quartz, amethyst, and rose quartz.
Okay. And then people need to clean them when they first buy them. Like
Yeah,
how
you
do you?
can. You can clean them under ice cold water in your, running water. You can put them in a bowl of salt. You can put them at the moonlight or the sunlight. Just
Right.
remember
And
with
explain why
sun,
people need to clean them after they buy them at a shop or have them sent.
um, because they do go through a process before they're into the shop. They do get shipped and handled by several hands before they get placed on the shelf. So it's always good it's like washing your hands before you eat. It's just like clearing it up before you use it yourself. And then you can put it under your pillow and sleep with it. Like a lot of people say you can do with oracle decks. If you're trying to
Oh,
connect with an oracle deck, you can
oh, I
sleep
didn't
with
realize
it.
that.
Yeah, and it just kind of creates a little bit of a connection. But I have so many crystals now, I don't sleep with every single one that's come in this house because I've got way too many.
Mhm.
But I
So you'd
have dropped
recommend
a
they
few off
first
the
clean
bed.
it energetically first and then sleep with it under their head.
Yeah, as if it's not a huge specimen, obviously.
Like a
If it's
small
like a
one, yeah.
big chunk, it might be a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit more difficult.
yeah. Yeah. And if someone has like large crystals, how do they energetically clean those once they get them?
You can put those in the window. The one thing I would say is keep in mind with like amethyst or rose quartz that sun bleaches.
Hmm.
So just like it would bleach your favorite t-shirt, it could bleach your crystal. So maybe don't do it as long or don't forget about it in the window if you have heavy sun.
Yeah, so you don't need
And so,
more than like 20 minutes, an hour kind of thing,
yeah,
or
and some crystals also are not water safe. So you don't want to run them underwater because they'll dissolve because they're
right.
typically made out of a salt or something. You know what I mean? So
So with those, we just use like incense then?
you can use sage. You can use
Okay.
white sage. That's a good one. White sage or Palo Santo, or those are the two that I like to use
Okay.
to clear my hands, clear my stuff, clear my home. Yeah,
Okay. Awesome. Cool.
yeah,
And then what are you offering people right now? Like, do you have something coming up for people?
yeah. Well, I have a community that I've been working on, and I'm not quite ready to open the doors yet, but it's almost there. And who
Okay.
I serve or who comes to me are usually healers, coaches, entrepreneurs, space holders, people that a lot of people go to.
Okay.
And they just feel like something about my frequency feels safe and that they can completely be held at the capacity they need. And so I get a lot of people that are not necessarily looking to me for the answer, but they do gain insight from ways. So they'll book a sacred clarity session with me, and I have like a laundry list of modalities we can pull out the hat if we want to, and most of the time we don't have to though. They usually leave very positively, and we don't even bring out a tool.
Okay. And then so if someone wanted to do a sacred clarity session with you, like how would they get in touch with you?
I'll give you all my links and stuff
Okay.
like that. Yeah, but
Okay.
that's what's available now until my community opens, and then we'll do other magic in there. I have
Okay.
a lot of different devices and things like that where I can run your energetic signature and determine what is a helpful Bach flower remedy that would work for you, what's a good
Okay.
crystal that would work for you, what are your chakras telling me right now, what are your organs telling me right now.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I can send remote healing that way. So once we have a better idea, I can send the remote healing after I've run your energetic profile.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
And so is there anything else you want to share with folks, or did you want to do like a sample EFT tapping with people, or do you need more time to prep for something like that?
I can do like, is there anything specific that you think your audience might need to work through, or should we
Well,
just
actually,
go through?
July is a really potent month astrologically. Like, there's a lot of good positive signatures to help people, like if they want to make a change or create a new foundation. So maybe we could just do like a brief EFT tapping to help people either get clear on what they want to like manifest in their life, and then like how to actually do it. That might be work because that could be a good use of this energy that we're in right now.
Okay. So let me take my glasses off. So I like to take my glasses off
Yeah,
when I
me
do
too, actually.
EFT. And it's just because the points are typically right around where your glasses would be. I have done tapping around the glasses. It just irritates me because I
Yeah,
can't get to the points as easy.
yeah, I
So
feel the same.
what I usually do is I tell people to like take a deep breath and turn their eyes inward and just kind of feel in your body what it's trying to tell you. Um, it's good to listen to your bodies before they scream at you like mine was. So this is one of the ways you can is just kind of scan through your body and determine if there's anything stuck or dense or tight. And if it is, where is it located? And give it 0 to 10, 10 being the most intense. What would that number be? Like I'm feeling a little bit of stuckness on my under my shoulder. So I don't know if it's because of the way the fan is hitting me or what, but I'm not going to give it a story. I always tell people, don't worry about the story of why it's there, just notice it, because that's the only thing that's bringing my attention to myself right now. And then where would I be on the scale? So then that's what I want you to do for your body as well. And then once you have that, then we're going to just go in and what they've found is EFT's been studied, and they've found that it can shift the fight, flight, freeze hormones, which is cortisol and adrenaline, by upwards of almost 50%, 43%, by just as little as 6 minutes of tapping.
Mm.
And so it doesn't necessarily matter so much what we say, although that's super helpful because you're working through the things. So maybe you can tell me what people are working through and I can use that in the script. Like you said earlier, I totally spaced it because now I'm in my body instead of in my mind. But we could
Like
tap
how
on
to
that
create a new
together.
foundation. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we can do is we start on the karate chop point here, which is the side of the hand. And then you start with you just basically have three statements. Like, even though I don't quite know, you know, where my foundation is landing, because right now we're in the process of the old falling away and the new one beginning. I completely love, honor, and respect myself here. And just take a deep breath. Even though I may not have all the answers mentally, I completely love, honor, and respect myself where I'm at right now. Taking another deep breath. Even though I don't know where I'm going to end up or how good it's going to be, I'm excited to find out. And I'm open and allowing the God, source, creator, universe, whatever you would like to call your angels to show me how good life can be. And then we're going to go to the eyebrow point, and that is like the divot of the eye. So if you feel your skull, there's usually a little hole right above your eyebrow point. And you can do left or right hand. I have people who are lefties and righties. They always say, Sylvia, do I have to use a specific hand? And it doesn't matter because you have a mirror image. And if you have two free hands, you can go at it if you want. If you have a headache, this will help you with your headache, but I suggest pressing instead of tapping. All of this uncertainty. What are things people are feeling right now, would you say?
Stress, fear.
Okay. All of this fear, stress that's going on around me, within me, side of the eye, which is like where your eyeliner wing would be. Sometimes I'm not sure if it's mine or somebody I walked by's at the grocery store or in the train with the TV, you know, scrolling. Sometimes I'm not sure all this fear, confusion, stress is even mine under the eye. So when you're looking straight at the camera, it's right under your pupil on the bone itself, right on both sides. So all of this unknown, the mind tries to figure out the next best step, can be a little disheveling, little confusing, a little uneasy under the nose. Sometimes these missing puzzles pieces that I feel like I don't have are not mine to hold. Maybe it's the angels that have those puzzle pieces for me. Under the chin, maybe I just need to trust that they're going to come. Maybe I need to lean back a little bit and allow them to put in their puzzle pieces. Right? Maybe I need to trust in God, source creator, the angels and my spirit team that they see things from a higher perspective than our humans can see from our level of awareness, from our level of perspective. So it's hard to see the whole chessboard from our angle, but when they have an overview of the whole chessboard, they can see things that we can't see that would actually be the best move. And then collarbone. So this is where your collarbone nubs are. And then I tell women to all the way to the bra straps. So as we shift from where we were to where we're going, I trust that more clarity, perspective, knowing will fall into place for me. And then under the arm, so it's about 4 inches below your armpit on the bra strap for the ladies that are wearing the bras. Guys, you're just going to have to wing it. So I recognize that from my perspective, I may not see or know the best aligned step based on my level of perspective and awareness at this time. And I'm going to lean back and allow my angels, God, source, creator, to step in and make the highest, best puzzle piece fall into place for me. And then we're going to go on the top of the head so that I can live in my highest truth on my highest timeline, living alive as fuck right now. enjoying every moment of my life, watching all the magic and the miracles fall into place for me. Because from their perspective, they get to show me how good it gets. And then we end on the third eye with, so be it, and so it is. And we take a deep breath and we exhale. So with my videos, I usually do about 4 rounds, full body rounds. And we go in from the the challenge to questioning the challenge and maybe looking at things a little bit different. And then we start to own it with the embodiment round at the very end. So I kind of break it up into that way. And it's about anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes by the time we're done. And then I usually have people write in the comments where they shifted. So I tell people to go back into the body, go to that spot where you clocked your specific dense energy. Where is it at from 0 to 10 now? And then you can, that's how I knew EFT worked for me, is because that person had me paying attention to my body and
Mm.
feel it and then measure it. And so then I was like, whoa, she's not trying to talk me into anything. But eventually I did get certified through her. But it was just because she was teaching it the way she did and I could feel a difference. So anything that I ever got certified in is because I felt a difference in me. And if I didn't, I just kept scrolling and nothing stuck unless it specifically felt different for me. And so then I got certified in it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This has been about an hour, so I
Yeah,
guess we'll wrap it up here.
yeah,
If you got value out of this, please do like the video. Please share the video. Please subscribe to Sylvia's channel. I'm going to put the link down below. Definitely check out all of her amazing offerings.
yeah.
And I thank you so much for being here. And I always like to end all of my videos with reminding everyone to honor the light within you.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun.
You're welcome.